Hi guys, it's Brian here from Slick Games and welcome to Devlog number 4 for Alien the Alien. Right then, so it's been a couple of days since my last recording and I've decided to take this opportunity to basically do a bit of tidying up. I spotted a video from GD Quest, which I will link to in the description, which talked about the GD script formatter, which I've implemented now in Visual Studio Code. It was really easy to sort out. I've gone through and I've sorted out my global script and it's made it look a lot nicer, it's a bit more readable. So I'm going to now rattle through basically every single script that I have in my system and apply this to it and also do a bit more tidying up. I've also noticed that I should probably be returning what type, what variable type I'm getting back from each method, so I'm going to add that into and possibly do a bit more stuff with that. So a few more days have gone by and to be honest I've kind of had enough of staring at code, refactoring and so on and so forth, so I thought I would take the opportunity now to sort out some of my level designs. I've had this card here to reorder the levels because some of the later ones are a little bit lackluster, shall we say. They're a bit too basic for where they are in the actual game and they need some attention. I've just opened them up here. We've got level 23, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 and 35. 35 is my test level with the turret and so forth. I'm actually going to take 28 out of this because it's actually more complicated than I think it was when I wrote that note, so that can be done. But these other ones here need looking at. I'm basically thinking that I'm going to introduce the turrets probably around about level 27-ish. 23 I think is a little bit too early to do turrets, so I'll introduce the new mechanic around about 27 and then reinforce it 29. Yeah, I might put them into 29, 30, 31. I'm going to do something initially with just turrets and then introduce the buttons as well, so that's what I'm going to look at now. Right, so I temporarily muted the game because the background music was driving me a bit nuts. I've changed level 23 now, even though I said I wasn't going to, and just added a turret in this location here. It's still a really simple level in terms of the difficulty, but having the turret added in makes it a bit more complicated, as you'll see. So, it's this way, he's going this way, and they've got to move fairly quickly or they die. And that's the level complete. So nice and simple level, but having the turret in place just makes it that little bit more interesting. And also it serves as a fairly good introduction to the turret as to what it's going to do and when it's going to do it. So yeah, fairly pleased with that. That makes that level a bit more interesting. I've edited level 27 to add in a turret and a button. When the button is activated, it will disable the turret, meaning that the player can get past. If the player hangs around too long, then the turret is deactivated and the player gets shot. So you've got enough time to get past the turret. Meaning that you can complete the level. I am going to have to edit the default colour for the turret's area effect though, because it's the same sort of green that I want to use on that level, so that's not ideal. Right, I've just made it white now, so you know, it's just a shaded version of white. That seems to look that works fine for me. I've amended level 29 and just added a little bit more complexity down this bottom area here. I've basically made it a bit higher. I've also swapped a couple of the blocks that were standard blocks for these short range turrets, and that just gives it a little bit more complexity. I really like the I really like this level anyway, the way that it completes. So having this extra bit here should just make it a little bit trickier for the user and hopefully a bit more fun to play. This level is completely boring. It has literally no redeeming features, it's far too simple, it needs to go. Let's sort that out. Good, so this is totally impossible. That's exactly what I want. Okay, the red colour does not work on the red background. I mean, the basic premise works, it's just a bit too easy. Okay, I'm fairly pleased with that. I think I will do some more extensive play testing with it and see if I can't cheese it in some way, and if I can't, I think that's pretty much job again. For the next level, I'm going to implement this gravity well block, which is effectively just going to hold Alan in place as he moves over it, effectively so that the player can change direction without actually colliding with anything else.
A few moments later.
Sweet, well, that was nice and easy. It's worth mentioning that I totally intend to change the graphic for this. Obviously, I've just used the corners from one of the blocks at the moment. Although it actually looks quite cool, but it looks like Alan's in a box. No, perhaps not. I'll do something else. Okay, so my idea with this level is I want to make it so that Alan has to stop in this gravity well and move across to the exit, but the first time this happens, the guns are going to be able to shoot him. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to do this yet, but I want to make it so that the player has to move the guns into a different position so that when they make their final sprint, the guns can't shoot them. Not sure how this is going to work. Okay, kind of like that. So, I mean that was a bit too easy, but the idea was fairly sound. As I zoom around here, so the turrets will reposition to aim at me. This one won't move initially because by the time I enter its area of effect, I'm being blocked by one of these walls here. So you can see this one's moved across to point at me, but isn't shooting me because there's a block in the way. So in theory, I can now zoom around all this bit here, like that. This turret is now facing in this direction. This turret is still pointing upwards, but I can take one shot and manage to complete the level. So all I can do now is make this into a bit more of a puzzle, because at the moment obviously it's far too simple.
A little later.
Okay, I'm going to leave this at this point in time. It's a fairly simple level to solve, but I think quite interesting in terms of the way that you're manipulating the mechanics of the turrets. So I'm going to leave this like this, stop messing about with it. If I think of any more things to add to it, then I'll do that at some other point. I've added the gravity wells into level 32 just to reinforce the mechanic, and also because this level is a little bit sparse, having these in and just extending it slightly has made it a bit more interesting to play. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.